I wasn't popular in school. That includes elementary school, because there were a couple of popular kids. That includes junior high for sure. We were not part of that crowd. That's when it starts, in my opinion. And definitely high school. High school was not my jam. I mean, I had some good friends, but we were not considered popular by any means. Although, if I may add, I was voted most likely to succeed and most intelligent. So clearly the people knew. Clearly they knew. But you know what was never my concern? Never my concern was getting the approval of other people. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Ladies. Listen up. I am your host, Gwendolyn Houston Jack. And I'm not really talking about popularity today. Not necessarily. But I do want to speak to those internal needs that cause us to seek out the acceptance of others. So let me go back really quick. I mean, we're almost 50, so I don't have to go back that far, but it's far enough. And you may be in the same crowd, so you're in good company. But when I look back at my childhood, I was a tomboy, right? Loved getting on the trees and creating these magical fortresses. I mean, I had a really nice treehouse. Treehouse that the tree had different limbs and I had different rooms, but Pops did not build the treehouse. No. Love doing daredevil things like taking my bike and creating ramps and jumping over them. I was that kid. I wasn't really one for cheerleading. Didn't really do I don't know. I'm going to say what most girls do traditionally. So maybe I do know. That wasn't me. That was never my deal. We were never fussy about dolls. There was never a want to wear makeup. What am I saying? I want to say my first lipstick, and it was a sample about this big from Estee Lauder, kind of mauvey pink. I think it was maybe 10th grade or 11th grade when I got that, because my mother wasn't like, oh, I'm getting makeup. And no, they were not buying those things. I was looking to have lip gloss. But it also wasn't a concern of mine. Now, I will say this quick little side note. There was a thing that the young ladies who wore makeup really early had older looking skin. So they had to wear it all the time because it just ruined their skin. I don't know if that's real or not because I didn't have any makeup, but depending on how you did it, it can make you look older. But that's not the point here. Here's the point. I have always felt comfortable in my own skin. Now, that comfort level may have been at 40%, but that 40% was definitely better than 30. The times where I felt less than were definitely around my family members because they would make a note. They would make a point to let you know that you were in some form or fashion less than. High school, maybe around 10th grade, I started feeling less than, right? It was still hitting that 40, maybe 35. It kind of wavered a little bit because, up until a certain point as a child, you don't know. Now, this is not for today's kids. Today's children, both girls and boys, they have so many images about what they're not. So many images, and AI hasn't really helped it. We as adults have not helped it. Those who are seen as influencers, or it could be a young actress or actor who has the potential to impress upon young minds what beauty looks like, what being handsome looks like, what being popular looks like. Can't see it. All I had was Jet magazine, the Jet Beauty of the Week. Ebony magazine, Essence. There was, what was it, Right On? And there was Right On, and there was this other teen magazine. I can't even think of it, but it was focused on music and stuff like that. So, you just wanted your posters. I wanted all the posters. Focus, let me focus. But in high school, I started noticing how less than I was. And I didn't really get it. Now, I'm talking about the spandex era. Kwame and the polka dots, in living color, right? The Fly Girls. So there's a lot of spandex. There's a lot of hip hop references, and you just want to be cute. But the cuteness came with some of those video vixens that came like later in the time. But they had shapes. They had Coke bottle bodies. Gwendolyn did not have that. Right? So when my sister would buy some of her clothes because she was working, of course I would sort of slide myself in them because they were cute and they got her attention. I thought I can get attention too and wear this short skirt and it'll be ridiculous on Gwendolyn. Now, did it get some attention? Shorts will always get somebody's attention. Shorts, I mean, it's just anything short will always turn the head, What the response is here nor there, but it will always catch someone's attention. It was never really negative, and it also wasn't positive. It was just kind of like indifference. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't get asked out on more dates. It didn't help me get a boyfriend or anything. So I'm not even really sure where it really fit in. And on those days that I would wear her clothes, it was so uncomfortable. It was so ridiculous how I would look at other young ladies and, they had style. They could actually comb their hair and it would look good because I had hair fiascos. But they had this sense of style and what appeared to be confidence. I say appeared because, as you go through high school and you get to know people and you start talking to them, especially the ones who you assume have a better life than you. Gosh, she's so pretty and she's got shape, and the guys always look at her and talk to her and fawn over her and must be nice to have her life. And then you realize not so much. It's really not all that great after all. And the rumors that have spread around the school about her aren't true either. I say this again. I was pretty solid, 40%, knocked down to 35% when I got to high school. Really more like around 11th grade, got knocked down to 35. And then it kind of jumped up again to like around 45, senior year, only because, what was that lady's name? I can't think of her name, Tammy something. She had buns and abs of steel. I know I'm dating myself. Don't judge me. But I thought, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to work out and I'm going to build this body and all the things we do for somebody else. I outgrew that. Now, I'm happy to say that when I went off to college, I outgrew that only because I was able to meet a fitness instructor who said, you don't want to gain fat, you want to build muscle, but understand your body type and what that will look like for you, because we're not one size fits all. And I thought, man, if I had only known that a few years ago. But that's where that started. But I go back to that, feeling comfortable not having to be accepted by everybody. Because in today's society, there just appears to be this want, this unwavering want for everyone to accept you and to like you. I don't know where it comes from. Well, I may not know, but I certainly have a clue in terms of what I'm thinking. But if we're really talking about being who we are, and it's so freeing to just get up in the morning, do as you see fit, and have zero fudge to give, then you have to recognize that you're not for everyone. And that's not a bad thing. Oh, okay. So I have been defined as a jagged little pill. And I openly define myself that way. So trust, it went both ways. It was not someone who put a label on me and it stuck. It was like, no, I'm a jagged little pill. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. So let's just get really real for the next few minutes. If you're watching this show, if you've tuned in this far, well, thank you. Appreciate it. Really, I do. Love your support. But there may be something about the messages, the energy you're feeling through this lens, the path that I have taken and am taking that resonates with you. There could be something that maybe is an age thing that says, wow, you know what? I'm almost 50. I'm in my late 40s. I'm coming into a different change in my life. I'm coming into this new chapter in my life. This really speaks to me. Or it could be that the vibe you're feeling is very much like you. You know, you're kind of off the cuff at times. I really wouldn't say, clearly we are ladylike when necessary, but at the exact same time, we can be a little grimy. We can get in there and get into some things, you know what I'm saying? So something is speaking to you if you're watching this show. If you watch any of the other shows, something is speaking to you. I often see on social media, and let me go back. Let me pick one specifically. I remember seeing a couple of comments on Threads. Now, if you're not part of Threads, it's fine. There are over a cajillion, yes, that's exaggerated, but there's over a cajillion social media platforms. You don't have to do everything because everything isn't for everyone. I've never done Snapchat. I have a TikTok, but I'm not really active on it. Things kind of auto post. I have Twitter because I was there in the beginning and I don't want to lose all of my history. So it just kind of sits there, but the lights are not on. But Threads was my replacement for Twitter. When Twitter was fresh and new and the cutest blue baby bird, you could get out your soapbox and you would figure out how to say what you wanted to say in 140 characters or less. And that was a challenge. Because it was like, look, you can't sit here and ramble forever. You got to get to the point. And so we learned to get to the point. And I loved my soapbox. I am a soapbox person. I don't have to have someone listening to me. So there was a comment from a few people about, what do you do on Threads? Just send stuff out and people don't respond. How do you know if anyone's seeing it? Well, why do you even care? Right? Your social media platform is for you to use it however you see fit. Now, again, I'm a soapbox person. I'm going to pull out my soapbox. I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to say what I got to say. And then I'm going to jump off and get into someone else's conversation. But no one ever has to reply. And no one ever has to comment or or even mention it. I don't even have to have any followers. Doesn't matter. This is my tool to express myself. And so I got to thinking, for the people who didn't understand how to be in a room and just do you, you're probably the ones who are like, I can't believe people are here. People actually use this. Nothing's happening. Where are all the cool kids? Let me say that for another day. When you are not concerned about being accepted by everyone, you shine bright. I mean, bright, crazy bright. And people look at you and they're like, well, what's going on over there? What's the deal? Why is it that people are navigating towards this person? Well, people like what's new and fresh and what's real. People truly do enjoy what's real. Have you ever noticed how when people share behind the scenes and it's like bloopers, or that the house is dirty, or that laundry hasn't been touched and it's been sitting in the basket for 3 weeks, people love to see that because they want to see what's real. That is how you build a relationship and build rapport with other people over a distance. It's real. Now, I'm not sitting on some yacht drinking on some bottle of champagne. I'm typically in the backyard on my hammock. I'm swinging in the hammock in the backyard with a beautiful bottle of champagne. I'm doing that, but we're not on some yacht. People want to know what's real. But more importantly, when you attempt to mold yourself to fit into somebody's box, it doesn't fit right. The same way that wearing my sister's clothes didn't fit right. It didn't feel right. I wasn't comfortable wearing the short spandex dresses. I kept trying to tug it down and make sure that like my cheeks weren't showing. And there was no risk of that. But the point is, it was so uncomfortable, but not a good uncomfortable. It was wearing a mask. It was a facade, trying to be something you were not. So I got 2 points. Number one, you really do have to appreciate all of your foolishness. Now, Gwendolyn, yes, I speak in the third person. It's a thing. We love all the foolishness. I am goofy, highly intelligent, witty, grimy, loving, nurturing. We do all the things. One moment I am sitting down, playing the PlayStation with the nephew or my brothers. And then the next moment I am sitting down writing a blog post or creating a portrait for someone. And then maybe the next day I'm outside with my camera taking photos on film. But we are all the things. But what really concerns me, that's the word, it is concerning, is how even as adults, some of us have not shaken off that high school mentality of having everyone accept us. We're not for everybody. We're not. I am not for people who can't do high energy. And I am high energy. I'm talking from 7 o'clock in the morning, actually more like 6, but I'll give you 7 to catch up. There was a young lady I remember I was teaching that morning, and I only drink water. It was good. I now enjoy iced coffee on occasion, not like coffee out of I'm talking like out of a carton but whatever. But I'm having my glass of water because you got to hydrate, keep the skin looking good and things. And she was like, gee, do you drink coffee in the morning? And I was like, no, ma'am, no. And she was like, this is too much. It's too much. It's only 8 o'clock. It's too much. This child is all of like 21 years old. And she's just as tired and worn down. And I thought, you are too young for this kind of attitude. It's morning. We got up today. Let's get going. But that's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's also 8 o'clock at night. We are still going. I mean, we are like the Energizer Bunny. Just don't need all that other stuff. That's how I roll. But I also know that how I communicate is off-putting for some people. Some of us enjoy the mulberry bush communication style. You kind of walk around this bush and walk around that bush, and eventually you get to the point. I don't have that kind of time. I don't have it. I am always aware of who I'm talking to. I take into account the person, their history, our relationship. I deliver whatever message that must be delivered graciously. Most of the time I ask. It's like, I have a question for you. Do you really want XYZ feedback? Do you really want to hear this? Or are you okay with me asking you this question and giving, I ask. Because it's not my place to tell grown folks what to do. It's not my place. But if you ask me like for an opinion, I'm going to ask you, well, do you want me to co-sign? Or do you want me to give you like an honest opinion? Because I could do one or the other. Can't do both. But the way I communicate, which is fairly straightforward, there's no beating around the bush, is off-putting for some people. And so it shocks them. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. And they do like this nervous laugh. Oh my God, you're so great. It's like, no, I'm serious. This is serious. You want someone to co-sign your foolishness, and I can't do that for you. So I get you want to laugh it off. This is no laughing matter. You're in a serious pickle. You should recognize that serious pickle, right? When we step back and look at who we are, you'll realize that some of the people who were friends, but they're really associates, people that you can be around for a little bit and you enjoy their company for all of an hour, and then it's fine. You never see them until the next 6 months. You're okay with that, right? They could be strangers off the street as far as you're concerned. You are cordial, but you wouldn't call them friends, right? Or maybe they're just colleagues. I enjoy you this much, and when we leave this building, don't even call my house. That's okay. But the idea of being accepted by everyone is ridiculous. I mean, think about it. Is there anyone on this earth who truly likes every single person? Every single person. I mean, come on. We already know that there are some people who are on the list of, oh my goodness, I can't believe. We know those people. I would never even. So how is it when we don't even like everybody that we're looking for everyone to like us? That makes sense. Doesn't the math doesn't add up, as we like to say. It doesn't add up. If someone is not for you, you'll know it. You'll sense it. And you may ask yourself, well, why does so-and-so always walk away when I come close? Or why do they always avoid me? Or why do I feel as if they're ignoring me when I try to talk to them? First of all, time. As I said before, the way that I communicate, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to tell your story, and then I got to go. And I admit, if I am in a mood to tell a story, I tell people, okay, I got a story for you. Walk with me here. And so I take them up and down the coastline, but maybe we're at dinner, so it's okay. But I also read the room that I should probably move my story along. But have I met people who gave me this funny feeling in terms of energy? Of course. I'm certain that it works the exact same way for them. But I have never, and I'm going to say never because, hello, oddball, never felt the need to try to have everybody like me. And this deal with social media, we are adults. So I want to slide into that really quick. Point number 2, we're adults. We're not in high school anymore. We're not in high school anymore. Why do we have to have people that we don't even know be consumed with us and give us approval for what we're doing? So your social media page has 100 people. Those 100 people clearly want to connect with you. Connect with them, right? You got 40 people. There have been times when I've only had 4 people watching one of my podcasts. And that's great. Those 4 people are my people. So, are you ready to do the work? Because we already know we can't stay where, well, okay, you can stay because you've grown, but the idea is to make some changes. Okay, number one, stop apologizing for being you. Just stop. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, just stop. Stop. You are who you are. Wrap your arms around who you are and love that person 125%, maybe 200. Love that person. If there is somebody in your current social circle that does not appreciate you for who you are, let them go about their business. Right? Remember, we are not for everyone. There are some family members, and I love my family. However, there are some members, I don't want them ever in my circle. Ever. The energy is just not what it needs to be. Again, inner peace. Inner peace. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that. I'm gonna wish you well, cousin. I'm gonna wish you well. I'm gonna let you have that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But don't apologize for being who you are. That's the whole point, isn't it? Is to be you and do you because everyone else is taken. Isn't that the phrase? Something like that. You get the gist. You get the gist. That second note, after we stop apologizing, is to trust your gut. If the energy doesn't feel right, trust that energy. You know, the human body is amazing. It really is. It's an amazing tool. It's an amazing vessel. And it does things that we don't always recognize. Like we can't put our finger on it. And maybe we don't have the right or the proper scientific term for it. But trusting your intuition, that spidey sense, that's real. If it doesn't feel good for you, then it ain't supposed to happen. And yes, we said it ain't supposed to happen. Let it go. Let it go. And along with that, because again, some of us have that high school mentality still. We're out of high school. So if your girlfriends or your homeboys are no longer feeling what you're doing because you guys have outgrown each other, that's okay too. You're not supposed to be the same person. The idea is to evolve, and it's perfectly fine. That at one point, maybe you guys were a great team. And then you realize you were a great team because you were this person's Robin, and now you want to be Batman. But you were always Batman. You were like, why am I always playing second fiddle to your events and what you're doing, and you never come and support me? Now, that in itself is a different conversation, but I will tell you, you might want to look at that. Here's the deal. You know when things are off, and you have to trust your gut, be who you are, and move forward. We're not in high school anymore. Who cares if Sally Sue doesn't like you? Who cares if Billy Bob is saying XYZ? Who cares? They're not paying your bills, and they don't wake you up in the morning. But I want to leave you with this. Make sure you give yourself the space and grace to grow and learn.